Hi, how are you all today? It's Monday. I think it's the 19th of May 2026. I think I'm going to call this video Car Semantics in Emergencies. I want to tell you what it's all about. It's all about emergencies, real dire straight emergencies. Now I want to start with a bit of a background story about a guy named Anthony. I won't name what type of car he was driving, but all of the family knew that Anthony had bought this new car, quite an extremely fast car, through a private sale. But I believe that Anthony bought it from a particular person who had a number of those model or brand of car for their business. And so, hey, Anthony, keep it on the quiet. We'll work out a good price for all that building work you're doing with the inclusion of a car. Do not, Anthony, tell anyone. So there's the background. So it was so let me say that in 1984, an ECU, a computer, was introduced to a car, and I won't say what model car. I'm not totally certain whether it was introduced to a number of cars, but it was introduced to a certain model of car, and I'm not certain of what year the car Anthony bought that week. I'm not sure of what year it was, but I'm absolutely totally certain it had an ECU, a brand new thing on the market nobody really knew anything about, especially mechanics in those days, 1984. And it was said that he had his pregnant girlfriend in the car and two other people. I'll mix up the story a bit. And he was doing an extremely fast speed when it was too fast, and he went on to the other side of the road and hit a combi van with a family in it, killed himself, killed the family in the combi van, killed his best friend in the passenger seat, and the baby of the pregnant lady passed away. They lost the baby, but the lady survived. In that day she did. So let me tell you this. I don't know his last name, but that's the story I heard from somebody else about Anthony. And here we are, decades later, I'm telling you what's happening to me in the same way. Hey, don't you love that? Let me tell you what precautions to take. Also, let me say that I looked at the stretch of road at least 100 times and couldn't figure out how he went into the opposite side of the road when the curve is in the opposite direction to centrifugal force placing him on the opposite side of the road. I could never figure that part out. But, and there's other semantics that I could say, but I don't want to identify anything too much more. Let me say this. Now I'm going to turn up my radio. Have a listen to this radio. It's distorted. It's a brand new Chinese computer radio. It's not a DAB radio, a DAB plus that connects to a streaming podcast. It's just simply FM, an FM aerial. So your FM aerials either receiving or not. But the FM aerial isn't distorted, although I've changed the FM aerial, and if I was to complain about it on internet, some people might say, hey, listen, that dickhead's just got some strange aerial he connected to the car that's open to the weather and shouldn't be, and it's distorting the signal. Well, either an FM signal receives or it doesn't. That's the bottom line. They can't distort the wavelength or etc. of the FM signal, to say the least. I was a telephone technician, and almost a technician. I was a cable license, cable layer, player, puller from electrical. All electricians have the data license, which entitles them to install the cables and terminate the cables. But it doesn't allow for PABX repairs, which we don't have nowadays anyway, but I did PABX repairs and a number of other things. I worked in telephones as well, and personally studied telephone repairs and installations and etc. So I didn't do the apprenticeship, but I cross-trained quite extensively, far further than the normal electrician. I wasn't fantastic in data, computer stuff, but so let me tell you that any radio technician will tell you that that distorted signal doesn't come through the signal. My car, I can park it at the local grocery store, come out, and all my windows will be down. Look, more power to you. You're incredible that you've got a connection somehow to my car. It's a model car that I purchased intentionally that doesn't have a Bluetooth connection, and so it can't possibly have a Bluetooth connection to the computer. But let me tell you more. My guess is that the radio has somehow had an app downloaded to it where it records the signal and immediately replays the signal in a distorted audio.
Whether or not you actually like the same properties, or if you even like each other.
Oh yeah, the problem could be in the radio itself too. Big deal. But what do you know? And it could be intermittent. But if it was intermittent, it might do it throughout the speech of the DJ or throughout a song or etc. If it was a fault suddenly in the radio, then it wouldn't do it just for one complete advertisement and then stop. It's got to be complicated, see? We've got to make out as we've really got to train the public that this guy's a nutter, even though nobody sees my videos, I'm sure. Just you good folk. So some of it is done by different teams. Different teams don't know about other teams. That's what cell work is all about. It is definitely guerrilla warfare on the streets. But let me tell you this. This is a ripper. This is what happened to Anthony, and I complained about this to someone. I complained to someone about what Anthony went through, and they refused to believe it. And what do you know, it's happening to me, and that might be a great chuckle for them. But so another cell that works on a different thing. Remember, I'm the rainbow guy, and they need that rainbow theory, etc. They need all the trademarks and stuff that I've got from the Holy Grail of Science. They need that book and whatnot. Let me tell you this. Oh, and these people need attention. They need to be connected continually telepathically to me, and that's why they handle things when they get people to do work. For example, the guy who built the app for the radio. There's only one extremely naughty country that are really good at computers that will do that sort of thing. That same country of person came into my home for couple of years, we went to dinner with them, with this guy, and sharing the bill each time we went, and we went 3 times. There was 3 of us, and the last week that he was there over I think a couple of years or a year or something like that. He was there for a while. We became personal friends, so we were led to believe. The last week he was there, he had a chap come and stay, another fellow come and stay in his room the night. And I was at the point where I really couldn't have cared less, despite having come from being, and I don't know whether I still am, but having come from being quite homophobic. I was grabbed as a kid. A number of other things happened to me as a kid. And the time that I was grabbed, actually physically grabbed and a hand shoved down there, I was only about 6 years old, and I didn't know what he wanted my tackle for. I had no idea that it was for breeding purposes myself. And anyway, my aunt said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "That man," the man that was running through the crowd, "that man grabbed my wee-wee." And my aunt, a great big country lady she was, took off after him like a bat out of hell. Oh, he's lucky she didn't catch up with him, I'll tell you. Oh, I dread to think what my aunt would have done. I saw her knock a guy out once. She is a great lady, let me tell you. That guy deserved it. She's just one of the most awesome ladies I ever had in my life. My mum's sister. No wonder they were great mates, honestly, my mum and my aunt. Man, I can never forget the way she took off after that guy, and I thought, what's she running after him for? He was a strange man. He wanted my wee-wee for something. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. It's all relevant. It really is all relevant. So I'm driving along this morning, and it's absolutely torrential rain, pouring down. And I rode motorbikes for donkey's years, and when I had to, I rode in the rain, of course. You don't pull over and wait for the rain to stop. It could be a month. So you ride. And sometimes, you know, not sometimes, your glasses would always get fogged. You know, sunglasses in an open face helmet would always get fogged in the rain. Cold air against, you know, I don't need to explain it. And so the glasses would come off and you're riding without any eye protection. That's what the sunnies are all about. My dog used to wear them too. He loved them. So anyway, the Staffy, Nugget. Great little fella. Anyhow, so it's torrential. I mean, bucketing down this morning, and you either turn around and go home, or you know that it's going to stop, the torrential downpour, very soon. The bucketing will stop. And I mean, it was bucketing down. Now, that's not the type of weather you put the cruise control on. And I actually checked the dash to see that I had lights on, and couldn't figure out whether the lights were on or off. The cruise control is on the other side, and I had one hand on the steering wheel and was checking that the lights were on, and that's why the dash was dim, and so they were. And at that moment, right at that very moment, I saw the cruise control come on, and I was sitting there trying to figure out how the cruise control came on. And next minute, the car took off. Only for a split second, though. It really, really accelerated, like it was set at 150, and, a bit of an exaggeration, like it was set at 100 or 110, and I was in a 50 or 40 k an hour moment. It really took off, like the flat to the boards. Let me also say that flat to the boards, too often for a electric or hybrid car where the electric motor is driving the wheels, isn't good for an electric windings. It's not good for that lamination, that very thin lamination on the outside of the copper coating, of the copper wire wound electric motor. That's very thin, that insulation, and it can heat up and it can damage, just like the myelin on your nerves. Okay, so that's in the electric motor only. So don't put your foot flat to the floor in your Tesla or your GDU or whatever they call them, and also your Prius. Taxi drivers are absolutely totally programmed to just cruise along at all times, and they've got a good electric motor, and they change their oil. So you could buy a taxi car with 600 or 800 Ks on it and still have a good electric motor. And so you can just recondition or swap out the engine. But I'm driving along, the cruise control came on right in front of me. Not a coincidence, because that's what my life is like. I saw the cruise control come on and was wondering what the hell. Whoa! I went and put my foot on the brake and cancelled it straight away. I'm trying to remember what else happened. Oh, when I first bought this car, I didn't buy it intentionally with the thought that it's not got Bluetooth connected to the ECU. And normally a Bluetooth on the ECU can only tell you diagnostics and stuff. And this car does have diagnostics on the display, but it shouldn't have Bluetooth connection where somebody externally can connect to your car and somehow play with your ECU settings. They have electric brakes. A lot of cars have electric brakes. Maybe the 1984 car had electric brakes. I'm not certain. I could check that out. But let's say that I had this conversation. Let's say I'm having this conversation with you, and hypothetically, I say to you, hey, what happens if the accelerator just goes flat chat? It's an electronic accelerator. The electronic device connected to your accelerator then opens the ECU, then opens the throat of the carburetor. There's no carburetor, just a throat. And it talks to the fuel injection to make more fuel under the revolutions per minute. So the other thing that happens is you got electric brakes, so the accelerator goes flat chat. It's accelerating, and if it was a ECU that was chipped, it could take off real fast, being a racing car, and it could also disable your electric brakes. So let me ask you, what do you do in that situation? Well, you might say, reach for the handbrake. Good idea. Handbrakes, by law, must be cable. So they could cut the cable. The naughty boys could cut the cable, and there's no one to blame for this, of course. It's just a computer glitch. So in the worst case scenario, the cable could be snapped. You know, you would pull that handbrake virtually out of the console, and what do you know? The cable broke. I only just saw that one. It was shown to me. Oh, I could find more and more scenarios as I went through that mentally. So what you want to do is you want to really check your handbrake before you leave home. Put it on. If it's a foot handbrake, then put it on real hard before you leave home. And in an emergency, it will slow you down. But one step further is this. You can, the fuses on a lot of cars are just right here under the steering wheel, just under the dash, and they're there for the ease of a mechanic plugging an ECU monitor in to the plug. You can, if you want, cut the wires to the plug, especially the power wire, and cut a section out of it, etc., and put that cut into the loom. It's a bit overboard, but what you can do is there is a fuse for the ECU, which is what your ignition switches off in the case of turning off your ignition. And usually there are 3 different sections of pressing the button and powering up the ECU, also with a key. There is, of course, accessories. The radio will come on. The next one, the next press of the button is power, to power up the car in the windows, etc. The accessories will turn the radio on. Powering up the car will turn the windows on, power to the windows. And then the next stage is foot on the brake, press the button, and the car ignition starts up. It starts up. Number 2 might be expressed as the ignition on and nothing else. And then go to start, and the car starts and the key releases back to the ignition position. But it's the same as pushing the button. Press 1, you got the radio, accessories. Press 2, you got the windows, and usually ignition lights as well, to check all your dash and etc. And then put your foot on the brake, press the button again, I think actually twice for my Prius, to turn the ignition off and then to turn it completely on, and the car's running. So when I first bought this car, and all of this is preparation for others as well as me. When I first bought this car, it had a faulty low voltage 12 volt accessory battery, not the hybrid battery that runs the vehicle, powers the vehicle, as in energy wise, engine wise, electric engine wise. The 12 volt accessory runs the electric brakes specifically and must be of good voltage. Sorry to spoil that for some of the guys, but I had to say this. I've been holding back from saying that particular safety fact for quite some time. And so when I first bought this car, the accessory 12 volt battery wasn't good enough for the car to run. The triangle of death kept coming up, and it took a couple of batteries to sort it out, but I was using second-hand ones, being a cheapskate, but eventually bought a really good 12 volt battery from the wreckers, cheap enough. And nowadays, because some dick keeps turning on my lights and turning on my stereo, I've also got an absolutely monster truck battery connected by jumper leads in the car that I'll get around to bolting down one day, instead of being a spare battery in the car. And it's been handy for some people who've been broken down on the side of the road. So anyway, let me tell you this. The car wouldn't run with a stinky 12 volt accessory battery. It runs the safety of the brakes, electric brakes. Sorry again to have to say that, but people need to know this fact. So what happened was, about a month ago, I couldn't turn the car off. That was a cheeky night coming back from church. And so I walked away and left the key in the ignition and the lights on, had a drink of water in the house, came back out and thought, all I got to do is disconnect that big spare battery, truck battery with the jumper leads. I did that. 12 volt battery that was in the car still running well, but won't run for a number of hours with the radio or lights on. And so having come back from quite a trip from church, the 12 volt accessories original Toyota battery was good, and the ignition stayed on. So then I disconnected the 12 volt battery, and what do you know? No triangle of death, nothing. some naughty boy named Johnny, the naughty boy in the classroom, is playing with my car ECU, and especially the acceleration so far, but also the brakes, because they dicked with the 12-volt accessory battery section of the ECU. Naughty, naughty. I don't think that the alternator is enough to run the 12-volt brake system. And it's not, of course, because if your 12-volt brake battery, your safety battery, your accessory battery goes low, then the car cuts out. It won't go anywhere. I don't think it even goes into limp mode. It will not come out of park. And you can put this car into neutral with a good 12-volt battery. No harm done. The triangle will come up if you open the door at any time the ignition's on and the car's running. Let me check now. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay, so the car... Okay, so ignition's on. The P came up, highlighted. It will go into neutral because I pressed the button twice, but it won't go anywhere. Foot on the brake. Foot on the brake, it goes into neutral from park, but press the park button again and it's in park. The indicator's going, the windscreen wipers are going, yellow lights to say ignition's on, but nothing else. So put my foot on the brake, press the button again. Right, now the car's running and into reverse, into drive, everything like that. I'll press park again, I'll push the button and it's turned off. Windscreen wipers stop. So let's have a listen to that radio again, hey? Honestly, I've actually enjoyed the radio in this total distortion because I can hear what song it is, despite the distortion. I know the words and I'm singing along like I normally do, but you know what? I sound better than the guy that's singing the song, and that makes me happy. You got to look at things in a positive way, folks. I had a good laugh about it when I realised I was singing better than the guy on the radio for the first time ever.
I've been intentions. So pull me closer. Why don't you pull me close?
Why don't you come on over? Baby, you just put me in the middle. Hey, I'm better than him on the radio. I love it. I love it. These naughty boys make me laugh all the time. I just realised they're so intelligent. Ah! No, they might be intelligent, and I'll tell you now, they are a lot more intelligent than me, but they're not guided. They don't connect with spirit whatsoever, and if they were doing something extremely naughty that would cause harm against another, then they will get it wrong. They will prove that they're hearing spirit, but they will get it so wrong that the people won't listen. Anyhow, there's a billion more things I could tell you. It's been great. 28 minutes, 34 seconds. And hey, let me tell you, they could get a piece of important information on my video, cut it out, but make something repeat from earlier in the video that you probably can't remember, to fill it up and make it exactly the same length as what I recorded. They're full of it. I mean, good ideas. They find me a challenge, but you're not challenged by me. You're not. You're challenged by spirit. Hey, you gotta love it. Have a great day, folks. It's Monday. I don't mind the rain. It's lovely and cool. I even slept in I stayed in bed till 8 this morning with the pouring rain. It was a good excuse. And listened to some TV. Had a bit of a channel surf for half an hour. I felt really good. I should be having Mondays off anyway. But no, right to the end, I'm going to be up as early as possible. The greatest part of the day, they'll tell you, those that get up that time, is just before or after the sunset rises. And this week, I just came from booking my teeth, and I'm going to smile at you just to show you how incredibly hideous they are. One was kicked out, the other was punched out. More power to you. I didn't feel it. And that's what happens to everybody who gets a tooth punched out. I saw a young lady once who had both her front teeth punched out. She was part Aboriginal and didn't realise that she had had that done in ceremony beforehand in another life, and therefore explains why she was extremely happy about having her two front teeth punched out. And she put them back in. She believed that they would take again, but who cares nowadays with these procedures where they I didn't want to have the jaw drilled. I've heard some really bad reports, but I was saving up for that overseas and get it done cheap, blah, blah, blah. All of that is just used to put a sick feeling in my stomach. It's a procedure where they crown, where they cap every teeth, and the gats, they put these acrylic things in there. If they're acrylic, I don't know what they are. I hope they're not rubber. I want to be able to chew the bone, you know. Figure of speech, kids. Hey, kids, you shouldn't be watching this anyway. Not till you're 18. Okay. So I'm gonna get my teeth fixed. 2 weeks time. So you've only got 2 weeks to be paying out on me wholesale. A young lady introduced me to that phrase, to that term. A great lady. I actually hope that I don't see that lady again. But we made a vow, and the vow has passed. Anyhow, I'm preparing the car, the Nautilus, for its next cosmetic. And the other thing is, you want to be able to pull out that ECU fuse if you wanted to, put it in with a piece of cotton that it can be pulled out, or tap into one side of the fuse, which I'll say might be this side, and it's power in, and through the fuse, this side is power out to the ECU. Pull that fuse out, break it in half, weld onto one side, solder onto one side, which picks up the power. Put an inline fuse in your piece of wire. An ECU should only be 5 amp fuse, really. They got a 10 amp fuse, but 5 amps is enough. And make that run to a switch just above the fuses on your dash. A good size fuse, anything at all. And then the load side of the switch back down to that other tag. So it'll come from the active through a fuse to your switch, and that switch you should see is always on. Test that switch every time before you leave home. Hey, look, if you think that's a ridiculous statement to make, to check your handbrake and to check that switch works every time, well, in racing cars, they had that same kill switch. And in racing cars, quarter mile or track or smash up derby or whatever, it's a push button, because they love that idea of a push button. Put a push button in. It'll look stylish. I might put a little tiny emergency push button in. What the hell? It's the Nautilus. Have a good day, folks. I really do hope you have a good day. It's a great start to the week. Honestly, it's glorious. They say ducks, but I don't go for that. I think I'm going to put my board shorts on and a t-shirt and go for a walk in the park. I'm going to have to carry the dog because she doesn't like the rain. Anyway, have a great day. Have a great week. It's really good. This will be helpful for you. And if somebody's holding it back, they're being naughty. They're being naughty. G'day, folks. Oh, you're going to prove me wrong, aren't you, that it's not naughty? You got to do that to all the people around you. For goodness sakes. Blessings from Mick Cox, Rainbow Guy, the Holy Grail of Science book author, publisher. Or am I? That's a weird laugh, isn't it? Sorry about that. I've been doing a few of those lately. It's because I'm channeling weirdos who are for always telepathically connected to me. Man, they're nutters. They're nutters. I had one at my door for the first time in 10 years since I've seen him. He's flashing himself at me. Grabbed his tossle 10 times. Oh my God. I prayed for him. I shot an arrow prayer straight up. I hope he gets better. He certainly couldn't get any worse. More power to you. You know who you are. I text that photograph of him. He expected it. He didn't expect it to 147 contacts in my phone. It's out there. He certainly was.